Sup guys? So this was a little bit out of left field, but we got a new John Bart Live 2D skin. And not only can you see the ring on her hand now, but she's got an anklet as well. I am very grateful for ASK and the developers at Manju for the gift. I hope we can get something for Vanguard as well in the near future. Feel free to enjoy her beauty while I yap for the entire video. In this video, I want to talk about the importance of using multiple resources to increase your knowledge. This isn't specific to Azur lane, but that's what we're here for, so I'm only going to be talking about examples related to Azur lane. I don't think it's the best idea to get all of your information from one source, which includes myself as a single source. I'm not just saying this to look cool, or to ask you to go spread my opinions to other parts of the Azur lane community. I just believe that it's truly helpful to see some other opinions, especially if they disagree with me, even if they're completely factually wrong. Under normal circumstances, this would not, by any means, be a controversial statement. However, having spent many years in various Azur lane communities, I feel like every single one only has negative things to say about every other one, and players will implicitly get a negative impression of the other communities, even if it's not explicitly said so. And the thing is, it's not necessarily the case that they are wrong in saying that all the other communities suck and they are the only good community in existence, but I think you should at least participate in others yourself before you come to the same conclusion. I am not saying that all communities have valuable information to offer, though. But even if all you get is utter delusion and misinformation, being able to understand why they are wrong is a good way to reinforce your understanding of the game. I would advise you to just lurk in those communities at the start and not immediately participate, though. If I'm the only Azur lane content that you consume purely for entertainment purposes, this is not really important. But if your goal is to learn as much as possible about the game, there are many reasons to diversify your knowledge base. First, I will not make videos covering every topic because I am not well informed on every single thing there is in the game. There are topics that I have yet to cover, which I may or may not at some point in the future, but that is not a reason to be completely clueless on those topics until then. As a hypothetical, if I don't ever make an in-depth guide about torpedoes, I hope you guys can still use both the tangentially related information I've given in the past, as well as other resources, to educate yourself on the topic. Think about the various tier lists that are out there, each one with its own dedicated followers that swear by only that tier list and nothing else. Until those tier lists update, those followers just have no clue what to think of new ships, and if you're a viewer of my channel, I don't want you to be in that same state. The second reason is because I'm not super plugged in with the experience of a progressing player. I play the game with my level of development, including fleet tech, equipment, and of course an unreasonable amount of oaths, and while I try to put disclaimers where I can, there are always people complaining that copying my setups don't work for them because, well, they're probably not copying every detail, unless they're actually that delusional and think that my game somehow runs different from theirs. If you're one of those people, you will definitely benefit from participating in an online forum like Discord or Reddit, where you can get real-time, personalized help based on your circumstances. I don't have the time, nor desire to be spoon-feeding every single person while also making videos. I also don't really think spending your resources optimally at every point in the game is really necessary. I've made a ton of mistakes in the past, including taking many of those free researches for a couple of research seasons before realizing that it was a terrible idea, and I made it out just fine in the end. Just don't do the really obviously stupid shit that anyone can advise you against, like blowing all of your cubes when there is no event, or upgrading random equipment to +13, and you'll probably be fine. Even upgrading a couple pieces of bad equipment to +13 won't be end of the world in the long run. The third reason is that my opinions are just that, my opinions. If you consumed a lot of my content, you might have the impression that I am very logical and reasonable, but depending on who you ask, I could be anywhere from unreliable to completely batshit insane. If you ask me, I'm obviously going to stand by my opinions, but there are large parts of the player base who would disagree. For example, most of the player base probably do not value Aurora as highly as I do, and a smaller portion of them believe that Kazagumo is borderline useless. Others may believe, for potentially valid reasons, that I overlook or undervalue certain things in my tests or my interpretation of the data. Another example I can think of off the top of my head is my auxiliary choices. There are places where you'll get crucified for not bringing defensive auxiliaries at all times on the Vanguard, and they have their reasons. But you'll probably notice very quickly that I load up my ships with offensive auxiliaries when I can, and I have my own reasons that I can defend. Not all of these disagreements are equally valuable or correct, but being able to look at both sides of the argument and come to your own conclusion will definitely help deepen your understanding of the game and bring you to the next level. Something to be careful of is people or spaces that try to convince you that they are right and everyone else is stupid or wrong. As much as they would like to believe, spaces where like-minded people gather will inevitably lead to dogma that is hard to break free from. I highly recommend using search functions to look up past discussion of whatever topic you're interested in first, and see if it has been answered in the past before participating, and try to avoid using me as a source of authority, as that could immediately result in, let's just say, less than stellar discussion. Instead, try to ask questions that you yourself are curious about, as if you don't know anything about the topic, and then ask clarifying questions, following up on the responses you get. And ultimately, this video is pretty much me telling you to go consume other content instead of only watching my videos, which is probably detrimental to my channel, but I believe that when all is said and done, when you have sailed the 7 seas and heard all of the other wild opinions that are out there, you will still find my information to be valuable and come back for more. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next one.